Hey guys, before we get started, if you want more content from We Studios, check out weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. We just rebranded with a new corporate logo, so go check that out at weepodcast.com. Oh, we're very corporate now, Jack.
Yeah, we're OCP.
Absolutely. We're going to clean Detroit up. We're going to do it right. And we have a
That was our number. That was the goal of We Studios from the get-go. You guys don't realize.
To take over Detroit.
Take over Detroit
Absolutely.
via Simpsons and then 90s nostalgia.
Yep. And while we're doing that, if you want to follow We Studios Pod on Twitter, that's our third Twitter account. You can still follow at 90s Percentile, but all of our major announcements will be on that one.
Yeah, and if you want to support the show a little bit more directly, you can always buy things on Amazon.com through our website, or just use the link wepodcast.amazon.com.
Nope.
Fuck.
Amazon.wepodcast.com. The other one will not work. Let's start the show.
60 minutes are on the clock and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we are talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after.
That's right, and we're doing it pro bono. We're doing it for free. I wanted to
Yes,
say
we
solo, and
Right.
but that seemed like one syllable too short, and pro bono rhymed.
We do
I
need-
said pro bono. I'm justifying it right now.
So should we just call these pro bono episodes? Because I feel like we have so many guests on this show. There should be a name for the ones where it's just you and me.
Well, pro bono makes
Pro bono
literally
makes
no sense
at all. Because every episode's pro bono. They're all, out of the goodness of our hearts.
I mean, pro solo because
Although,
we're pros and we're doing it solo. But
That's true.
But there's two of us.
pro solo
Bro solo. Because we're a couple of bros who are solo.
Han Solo's Brolo.
But there's a bolo out for Han Solo.
That's true,
So
you're
it's
right.
it's a Han Solo,
Han Solo bolo for Brolo?
pro solo.
And we're using GoPros.
So
And we're in a dojo. So it's a Han Solo Bolo Dojo GoPro.
I've lost my mojo. Oprah.
I don't know. We need a name to come up with these. So
Pro
it's- A Propra? I don't know. But we are here. We're taking your 90s topics today. And if you have any 90s topics you want to submit, you can go to weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com, and get all the...
Podcast.com.
.com.
Oh.
And you can submit your topics there and listen to all the past episodes. You probably know this. Maybe you don't. If it's your first episode, welcome. They don't all start with rhyming
gibberish.
games.
Maybe they should.
They should.
We'll be that podcast. The podcast that has a rhyming riddle. Who is the GoPro of the Bolo, the Han Solo? If the answer was man.
Is it just Major Domo? I don't know. But we can get right into this. We got our random topic generator here based on your 90s topics. And Jack, are we ready to jump right in? We got 2 minutes into this episode. Are we ready for a topic?
God, that was 2 minutes of that?
Or should we have just more crazy nonsense?
That's
How you doing, Jack? Let's check in with each other. What's going on?
I'm so tired.
I'm also so
I'm
tired.
like tired in my bones. Like I somehow can feel the tired inside of me.
Yeah.
Whereas not outside, I'm not tired because I'm all hopped up on caffeine balls.
Sure,
but,
of course. You eat the caffeine balls every day. Work has just been so stressful for me lately, and I just feel like I haven't been sleeping enough.
How do people do it?
I have no idea.
I don't get it.
I was asleep at 9:30 on Friday night.
Like I've been doing it for better part of a decade. I'm just like, man, I can't. If I just picture my mom doing it, and she would come home, and she was 65, and I'm like, she's doing the exact same things I do now, where I just come home and I'm literally too tired to do anything but watch 10 minminutes of TV and then go to bed
and then go right to
and I'm
sleep.
just like, well, I'm not. Once the podcast explodes and I'll get a butler and all this stuff. I'm not going to be doing this for 50 years. And I'm like, I bet everybody thinks that.
So please click through amazon.wepodcast.com. We really want that butler. It would help us so
That's
much.
literally it. We're still going to have the same shitty apartments, and we're going to still be in debt, but we just want a butler.
We'll get a butler. It would be so nice if we could be like, Bryce, the butler's name is Bryce. Bryce, bring the car around. Get us each a hot toddy.
That's all we want. A butler and a couple of hot toddies.
That's all we need. We're not asking for a lot. All right, so maybe we should jump into the first topic now. So here we go. I got a random topic generator opened up. And
don't ask me how I am ever again.
Okay, I won't.
I thought that
poorly. I thought that would be interesting for the listeners.
Just a huge downer.
No, it's not. So here we go from Daniel in Seoul, who I believe has suggested a number of topics. So thank you, Daniel. His topic is Shaquille O'Neal's rookie season.
Ooh.
Now, Jack, this may surprise you, as I am someone who hosts 2 podcasts, both heavily pop culture related. I am not a big sportsman.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought you've never heard of Shaquille. What was it?
The great Irish champion Shaquille O'Neal. No, I'm not really a huge sports guy. I know Shaquille O'Neal more from Kazam, which
Shaq
I've never
Fu.
even seen, and Shaq Fu, which I've never played.
Have you seen anything starring Shaquille O'Neal? Have you seen Blue Chips?
I've never seen Steel. I have seen Blue Chips.
Right.
That was the one. Wait, oh no. Am I thinking of the right movie?
Are you thinking of the Pelican Brief?
I was thinking of Celtic Pride, which is when Dan Aykroyd
Isn't it
and
Celtic
Daniel
Pride?
Stern. No, because it's the Celtics. They kidnap. I think it was Damon Wayans, right?
Yeah.
Who was? They were
Star,
huge Boston fans,
yeah.
and they were up against him.
Obviously, a big hit movie.
Yeah.
Changed comedy forever.
I saw it several times.
I've
It
never
was one of
seen
those
it.
pay-per-view movies.
I think
for
I've
me,
caught
but
like 10 minutes on TV once.
it's fine.
Okay.
It's post Ghostbusters Dan Aykroyd doing his thing. But yeah, you are a little bit more sporty than I am.
Yeah. His rookie season, I mean, we should probably look it up. I'm
we'll
pretty
look it
sure
up.
it was with the Orlando Magic. And I actually remember, I don't know why, but I remember specifically the moment I learned of Shaquille O'Neal's existence.
Okay, I would love to hear about
So
this.
I was in my grandparents' front lawn, where I literally, like, one of the top 5 locations of my entire life. You know, I spent so much time just sitting in the grass in front of my grandma's and grandpa's house.
Please tell me, I don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
please tell me the story is a limo pulled up and a black hand came out and waved you in and you spent the day with Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, you told the story. Now that's it. I got these pack of basketball cards. I don't know whether they came with something or if it was in a vending machine, like one of those 25-cent. And I got a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card. And
That seems like something that would be valuable.
I don't know. I lost it years ago.
All right,
I have
then.
a feeling it was like one of those cheap cards that doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like there
I
wasn't a
don't-
Shaquille O'Neal hologram coming at you.
I don't know enough about trading cards. I would
Yeah.
hate to find out that it actually was worth a lot of money. I keep a Wade Boggs card literally in my safe deposit box because for whatever reason, when I was young, I decided this is a cherished. It's like, first of all, I got a cheap pack of cards.
Sure.
And I actually recognize one of these names because I
Right.
don't know that much about sports. It's like, I know Wade Boggs.
Yeah, he was
And
on The Simpsons once.
And it was really pretty. It was like very holographic. It seemed like a high quality card.
Okay.
Again, it probably wasn't like Topps or anything. It was probably some shit brand. So I was
Right.
like, this is important. So I put it in my safe deposit box and it's still there. And I
Interesting.
Because I know it's worthless, but I don't know. Like, it's just weird for me to throw it out at this point.
I really want to look up this Wade Boggs card and see, like,
should.
you could be sitting on Butler money, man.
I have it's not even a rookie card.
It's not even a rookie card?
Like
Oh, then it's
like his
nothing.
9th season card.
Wade Boggs isn't dead. Maybe if we
No.
kill Wade Boggs, then
No, he needs
this
to
price
not
will
just die.
skyrocket.
He needs to like be a terrorist or something. Like he
All
needs to
right,
be
well.
brainwashed by ISIS and do something horrible.
We need like a Manchurian candidate situation for Wade Boggs.
like a Manchurian Boggs, and then that card could be worth. Well, then it still wouldn't be worth money because everybody still has Wade Boggs cards.
That's true. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
We'll get there.
So I've going through these cards and I'm like, hey, Grampy, ever hear of this guy? You know, and I was sitting in the grass where I did either my writing or played with my action figures. I played
Yeah.
a lot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids games
Okay.
with my action figures.
You know, like you do.
Because, you got the grass there. And,
Right.
and I was like, Grampy, you ever heard of this guy? My grandpa was a big basketball fan. I was like, you ever hear of this guy? And I was like, what about Shaquille O'Neal? He goes, oh, yeah, he's that new kid. He's big. He's big.
He is big.
And
He's 7'2", I think.
yeah, that's what the card said.
7'1".
Although I think
Unless
the
he
card
shrunk.
Actually, the card said, see, well, maybe the card is worth money. I really mad.
You think it was a misprint
It
card?
was because it said 6'2". And I remember my grandpa. This is why I remember this moment because then my grandpa was just like, "Oh no, he can't. That doesn't sound right. He can't be 6'2". And I was like, "No, Grandpa, the card says he's 6'2". It can't be wrong."
Yeah, the cards are always right.
Yeah. No, I remember the way the card looked. It had the names were written vertically on the side of the card.
Sure.
And it was Shaquille was like in silver and O'Neal was in purple or the other way around, which is the magic colors.
I'm trying to find an image of what this card could have been.
Anyway,
I'm Googling it.
I remember specifically like finding the Shaquille O'Neal card, my grandpa telling me who Shaquille O'Neal was and going over about his height. And from that moment on, the name just kind of stuck. And then I guess it was reinforced because he was obviously in the news a lot because he was a really good player.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so I just always knew Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking on eBay at Shaq rookie cards, and there's one with his crotch just like right in the camera.
No, that wasn't a crotch
wasn't
card.
that one? That
What?
one's worth $182 apparently.
Oh, no, it wasn't a crotch card.
But yeah, none of them seem to be like Butler money. So maybe dig it out and try and find it.
No,
but
it's gone. It's gone forever.
All
But it's
Wade Boggs though.
it's funny how if you get introduced to somebody early enough and they're still pretty young.
Yeah.
And they just feel like they've been around forever. Like Kobe Bryant retired this year.
Sure.
And I'm
Seems like
always
he's been around
shocked that
forever.
Kobe Bryant is like 4-5 years older than us because he's
Really?
because
Yeah,
he's been around forever. When we were in middle school, when we were in junior high,
Right,
he
he was
was
a
playing,
thing.
but he was drafted right out of high school.
Right.
But he's an adult when you're 12 and somebody's playing professional
Right,
sports.
an
He's an adult.
18-year-old basketball
Yeah.
player is a grown-up.
Exactly. And I had a Nintendo 64 game. My cousin had a Nintendo 64 game. So I was literally playing a video game of this guy. So it's weird to
Oh,
think
wow.
that he's 4 or 5 years older than you.
Right. He got into a video game. That's amazing.
And then for him to retire this year, it's just like, man, Kobe has literally been playing for like 2/3 of my entire life.
Yeah, and he loves Sprite.
Yeah.
you
And
remember
then
those
you have a
commercials.
different effect where once you're a little bit older, I remember when LeBron started.
Right.
LeBron was the first, he's a year younger than me. He's your age, I guess.
Okay.
And he was the very
I
first.
actually thought he was younger than that, so that makes me feel kind of good.
So he's like, he was the very first sport player or celebrity, I guess, even.
Sport player.
Like,
That's what we call them, right?
Maybe even celebrity, maybe even more than like actors. Well, maybe there are a couple of actors. But
Right.
Freshman year of my college, I remember seeing him. He got a $90 million deal with Sprite.
Yeah.
It's like it's really weird now that there's people younger than me making that much money, and that now they're doing something
Yeah.
professional. I remember thinking that about him. I remember thinking that about Scarlett Johansson. 'Cause,
Sure.
she's my age. And
Yeah,
I was
yep.
just like. It's like, well, it's weird to see people becoming the next generation
like
that is my generation.
And seeing people succeed where we fail
too,
so much.
that too.
You know, Sprite gives out a lot of money to these athletes. Do you think that they want to sponsor like a couple
know.
of podcast hosts?
Obey your thirst,
Right?
Huh? Grant
It's
Hill
got-
drinks Sprite, and so does
Grant
Dan
Hill
and Jack.
drinks Sprite?
Dan and Jack drink Sprite.
Han Solo, Bolo, Trovo?
But anyway, my point is, so it's the opposite effect with Kobe, whereas LeBron, I feel like just started playing basketball. It's like, oh yeah, he's that rookie that's younger than me.
Right.
And no, he's 31 years old. His son is in high school. He's
Really?
He's up there. He's
How could his son be in high school?
do the math.
He had a kid when he was 16?
I don't know. I guess.
Well, okay, here I have a question for
I think
you.
his son's like 12.
We're talking about ages of athletes here or sports players. Do you know how old Shaq is? You want to take a guess? Because I agree with you. It seems like Shaq has been around for forever.
Okay, so I think that was before they were being drafted out of high school. So he wouldn't be a 19-year-old rookie. He'd probably be more like 2021. So this was what, 91, 92 when I had this front yard conversation with Grandpa.
His rookie season was 92.
So I'm going to say he was born in 72. So I'm going to say he is 44.
You nailed it.
Wow.
That was very impressive, actually.
Hey.
March 6th, 1972. He is 44 years old. You want to take a guess where his hometown is? It's not far away. I'll say that.
From here or
From here.
really?
It's far away from Orlando and L.A.
I would have guessed he was from Orlando. Is he from the city?
He is from Newark, New Jersey.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Scenic Newark.
That's funny.
Go visit if you're in. Don't go visit.
I get a big laugh when I talk to my students at school.
Yeah.
Whenever we get a new group of students, I explain to them how to get film permits.
Sure.
In New York City, you can get a film permit for $300, and I tell them, please do your location scouting early because other cities have different prices. And so Newark, New Jersey is actually $3,000 for a film permit. So I always
Really?
tell them, don't write a screenplay called I Love Newark and then find out it would cost $18,000 to shoot all your scenes there.
Right.
And it always gets a laugh when I just, for some reason, the concept of a romantic comedy called I Love Newark just inherently just gets laughs.
Yeah, I can see that. You should write that script, though. I think you could make it work.
I don't have the money to
You know
film
what you
there.
do? Throw Wade Boggs into it. Combine
as the villain.
the Manchurian Boggs and I Love Newark, and you've got something.
Somebody says the secret code word to Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
Pro bono, Han Solo, GoPro.
It all ties together,
and
folks.
Wade Boggs suddenly goes into a trance
Oh, yeah.
and tries to take out Cory Booker.
Yes. He's coming for you, Corey. We don't care if you're the... He's not the mayor anymore. Right now, he's like a senator, right?
Yeah, and he was on the VP shortlist.
I like Cory Booker. I'm a fan.
Yeah, he
What I know
shovels
about him.
snow
He
in the
shovels people's
blizzards.
snow.
He's just like a regular guy. You just want to have a
He's
beer
just-
with him.
yeah.
That's what I want in my politicians. Just a regular guy.
And he's probably also our age.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not much
probably
older.
a little older.
I've never
but-
seen the documentary that
Street Fight?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good about his election.
Well, there was two actually. There was Street Fight, which was a movie, and then there was Brick City, which was like a series.
That was about Legos, right? With
Yeah, it was all
Will
about
Ferrell
him
was
making
president of
Legos.
business.
Yep. That was it all tied together. I did watch Street Fight a long time ago, and I liked it, and that's where I first liked Cory Booker. He was the mayor of Newark. If we didn't say that.
Mayor
That's
Newark,
how he
New Jersey.
came up.
Newark,
just
New
now.
Jersey is a city very close to Staten Island and New York. I think Staten Islanders. I'm surprised when I meet other New Yorkers. Staten Islanders know Newark a lot better.
Yeah.
Because most New Yorkers will go to LaGuardia or JFK.
Right.
Newark's an international airport. But
Yeah, it's one
most
of the
people
three
would go
New
to,
York
would go to
airports.
LaGuardia or JFK.
Right.
Whereas almost anytime anybody I know from Staten Island would go to the airport, they'd go to
They'd go
Newark
to-
because
well,
it was a 15-minute drive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Newark generally is known as a cesspool of a town. It's gotten better, but not
it has
great.
a crime problem, yes.
It has a crime
Cesspool,
problem.
It's a strong word.
It's a cesspool of a town. Come on now. But yeah, let's get back to talking about Shaq because he grew up and left Newark like a smart man.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to say. Just to summarize,
Sure.
Yeah, so it's crazy how LeBron has been playing for now 14 years, and to me, he still he feels like a rookie. It feels like, oh yeah, LeBron just started. It's pretty much. I think when I pretty much like senior year of high school, anything after that point,
Right.
now I'm just like, yeah, that was last week. Like, do you
Yeah.
have a point like that? Like, what's your point where it's like, yeah, that was last week?
It really feels just like college. Like it feels like I'm still in college, even though
Yeah.
I'm like a married
We
man.
graduated
with-
college 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I finished college, let's say. Finished going to college.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I missed my 10-year reunion. I didn't go, and
I don't even think I think all my NYU alumni emails just go right to my spam.
yeah, I've unsigned.
I certainly didn't go to
unsubscribed.
our high school 10-year, which was
No.
4 years ago, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
'Cause that feels like it was last week.
Right, but our 15-year, maybe we'll go to that one.
As
Maybe
with
we
our
should-
butler. Our butler will drive us and go, now presenting
Yeah.
podcast hosts Dan Mulhall
Could you
and Jack
imagine
Picone.
if we went to one of our high school reunions and did a live podcast, like in the corner of the reunion?
That would be so nerdy.
That would be like one of the worst things ever, but it would be
I
interesting.
don't know. We did play Whose Line Is It Anyway improv games during lunch, so I feel like it's
yeah, we
not
did.
much different.
It's not. Well, it's
in
it's not much
nerdiness
different.
level. Yeah.
It would be exactly what people who went to high school would expect from us. So,
What's crazy is, I mean, we don't look great. I've certainly aged a bit. But,
think I look okay.
You look better than me. I've aged more. But I see some on Facebook. Some of the guys we went to school with look like straight up like 48-year-old men.
yes, they do.
And I'm saying
Bald
men because
and
we
fat.
went. If you don't know, we went to an all-boys school.
We did.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
we're not saying the ladies.
But
We didn't go with ladies.
No, we certainly didn't.
Certainly did not, and that has affected us for
Did
decades
you
to
ever
come.
go to any other dances besides the one I went with you?
I don't think so.
You dragged me to one dance.
To be clear, we didn't go together.
Well, we did go together.
Well, we did go together. All right, it was a beautiful night, and I will remember it for the
No,
rest of my
I
life.
think there was like a girl who was from a sister school that was going to the dance, and you wanted to go because you had like roughly like said we should meet up at this dance, like indirectly. So you
Sounds like something I would do.
After weekly dances for 2.5, 3 years, you were finally like, we should go to a dance. It's like, I don't know. And you dragged me, and we went, and we went like we didn't dance.
No,
so
definitely
it was just
not.
like we walked the perimeter. And
Yeah,
we were
I
just
remember
like-
that.
We're just like, what do we do? And then you're like, oh, they sell snacks upstairs. So it's like, oh, let's go get some snacks. So then we go all the way upstairs, and there's like a mom selling cans of Coke and bags of potato chips.
Right.
Like, I guess I'll get a Coke, and you're like, all right, that killed 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Guess we'll go back downstairs.
I
Walk the
haven't thought about
perimeter
this in
again.
forever, but you're right. We didn't do
I
much.
don't think I talked to a single girl.
I think that's accurate. And I still haven't talked to a girl. One day I'll get
One
there.
day.
Because my wife and I just don't speak.
Look
to
at her in silence.
We speak through
It was
American
a
Sign
really
Language.
Weird wedding.
It was.
Would you like to? Would Dan? Would you like to say your vows? And you just shook your head vigorously.
No, I couldn't say no, but you know. Yeah, not much has changed since high school, really. So if you're listening to this and you went to high school with us, we will not be at the reunion. This is what we've been up to.
And you all look like old men.
And you all look like old men. I think I know exactly who you're talking about, and I agree.
There's a couple. There's a couple.
There are a couple.
There's definitely one I think we're both on the same page about. Who's
Yeah, I
the
think so.
quintessential 48-year-old man.
Yes, absolutely.
Majzoon. Is that it?
Yes.
All right, that's just for us. That's just for us.
Yes, that is a deep, deep cut inside joke in our lives. But let's get back to talking about Shaq. I don't know. Is there anything to say specifically about his rookie
year?
season? I'm looking on Wikipedia. Apparently, he was the first overall pick in the '92 draft.
All right.
That's pretty
Was he
good.
drafted out of college?
Let's see.
Because I remember reading somewhere recently that Kobe kind of started the wave of drafting out of high
He
school.
did. He played in college. It looks like he played for LSU. Yeah, he played for LSU. He studied business there. Good for him.
See, again, it seems like he's from the. I guess you go to college anywhere across the country, but
Right.
I always pictured him as like a Southerner.
Check this out. There is a 900-pound bronze statue of Shaq located at the LSU basketball practice facility.
So they made the statue half his weight.
That's exactly right. True to life.
It's a 0.5 ratio.
Yeah. It's only 4 foot tall, and it weighs 900 pounds because he, of course,
I
weighs
remember,
a
God,
ton.
I think it was a Tina Fey Weekend Update joke, one of her very first jokes where they were talking about, there's rumors that, this is paraphrasing to the extreme here.
Right.
But there's rumors that Carmen Electra and Shaquille O'Neal are dating. The rumors were confirmed when Carmen Electra was split in half. I remember it was like,
that is a great joke.
Yeah, and I remember it was like, oh, this Tina Fey, she's
something.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Tina Fey for a quick second?
Sure,
Quick
it's
sidebar.
kind of the topic.
It's very connected to
Shaquille
Shaq.
O'Neal's rookie year, Tina Fey. They go hand in hand.
Tina Fey, when she was first on SNL, famously, I don't know if you know the story, but she had that scar on her face.
Yeah,
because when she was a little girl, like someone just walked up to her and stabbed her in the face,
Jesus.
which is fucked up.
Like
and
who?
Like
Another student or a crazy person?
No, just like a crazy person.
That happened to Tim Heidecker too, didn't he? Wasn't he stabbed repeatedly in his front door?
Was he?
I think
like
so.
Recently?
No, I think years ago.
Boy, that really colors a person as a comedian. It seems like then.
Just getting stabbed repeatedly.
I guess. But what I was going to point out is she got rid of the scar. I guess once she got 30 Rock, it seemed like it gradually faded away.
It. I didn't know it was I never really took it at face value as a scar. I guess I didn't think about it. I never thought about it. But now that I am thinking about it, I always just thought it was like a dent in her makeup because she seemed, I don't know how makeup works. I always thought she seemed like she had a lot of powder on. Powder is what you put on so the lights don't reflect off your sweat. Yeah. And I always thought it was just a weird dent in her.
Yeah.
I guess I just figured it was her facial structure. Yeah, I didn't know it was a scar.
I thought the scar, it gave her a little character. I see why you'd want to get rid of it. But
it's her, it's Omar from The Wire.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Frankenstein.
He didn't get rid of it once The Wire started.
Scarface.
Frankenstein.
Just all the celebrities with scars on their face.
All right. Scarface.
Tina Fey. Yep. Omar from The Wire.
Yep.
Frankenstein. Scarface. And Scar.
There you go.
The 5 scars.
Everyone, they play in a band on the weekends.
Can we please get either Steven Soderbergh or Anton Fuqua to make a movie called The 5 Scars?
Yeah.
Starring Tina Fey, Omar from The Wire, Frankenstein,
Scarface.
And you know what? Since he's the scariest, let's go with the Frankenstein from I, Frankenstein, played by Two-Face.
Aaron
Eckhart. Yeah. So let's have Aaron Eckhart's I, Frankenstein.
Okay.
Scarface. Obviously Al Pacino Scarface.
Yeah.
Because James Cagney is dead, or whoever played Scarface.
Right.
And Scar. The
animated Scar. I love it. I think this is a great idea. Can I say a sidebar about, since you brought up I, Frankenstein? I never saw I, Frankenstein. It looks like an interesting movie.
Yeah, I have it. I've downloaded it, and I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
Looks
legally,
like cheesy fun. But they did a tie-in comic that was available for free on Comixology. No, it was called I, Frankenstein, but there was also a Spanish translation that was just said, "Yo, Frankenstein." And I own that.
I'm guessing this is a meme that's probably been talked about all the time, but I've never actually thought about it. But I guess that happens all the time. Like Will Smith's robot would be Yo Robot, and
probably unless they renamed it to like something else.
A Star Wars Legends expanded universe novel called Yo Jedi.
Was there one called I, Jedi?
That's what I'm implying.
Maybe it was Yo Jedi in English, and the translation in Spanish is still Yo Jedi.
It was actually the late 80s. MTV was trying to be hip. It was Yo Jedi Raps.
Right, and in Spain it was I, MTV Raps. It was very confusing. What else do we have to say about Shaq?
I would call the I, Frankenstein comic like him Frankenstein.
Right. Because it's not the comic itself. It's not Frankenstein.
Exactly. It's an adaptation of I, Frankenstein.
It's like Magritte. This is not a pipe. Is that too highbrow for this show? You don't like my modernist art jokes?
I think that's I think this is the perfect place for it. I wish we had more of those jokes and less GoPro to the yo-yo.
Less rhyming nonsense words. All right, from now on we'll make more surrealist painters.
Magritte, this is not a Frankenstein.
This is not I, Frankenstein. It is a book representation of I, Frankenstein. Oh boy!
That's just the concept of that. That's the funniest thing I've ever not conceived. You conceived it. The funniest concept I've ever concepted.
All right, I'm so happy to listeners. If you agree, write in and let us know.
Please don't make the head of your Reddit post. This is not a Reddit post.
Someone will probably do that now. I don't have anything else to say about Shaq. I've never seen any of his movies.
Steel Kazam, Shaq Fu
they've
are
gotta
all
all be in
separate
there.
topics
Yeah.
in our never-ending sorts of topic generators. So let's save them because I could talk about
Sure.
Shaq for a full hour.
Yeah.
But as for in terms of his rookie season, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good run.
I will say this because of that card incident with my grandpa, and because I do really like sports, but I don't have the time and energy to follow them. It's the same reason I can't watch like Stephen Colbert or Conan O'Brien. It's not like a 13 episode a year kind of commitment.
Right.
Sports is pretty much you have to follow every game, follow it every day. The most I was ever into sports was when I worked at a job where I could read the newspaper every day.
Sure.
And literally being able to keep up that way.
Well, that's the thing.
Made me more invested.
You keep up with it. You don't necessarily have to watch every game. You kind of
Right.
just have to read into it, which is sort of how I am with comics nowadays. Like, I don't read. I haven't read much at all of like DC Rebirth, but I hear about what's going on, and I like knowing what's going on in the stories.
But I like watching the games. I don't get that much satisfaction out of keeping up with it because I don't give a shit. I don't get like if my team's not in any of the playoffs or finals, I really have no disappointment. Whereas if I'm watching a game between two teams that I don't give a shit about, I can get invested.
That's why I understand fantasy sports a lot more than people who are just reading sports for just fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Because fantasy sports, you're looking to see like,
makes
Shaq's
every
on my
game interesting,
team,
yeah.
so how did he do relative to the other players on my team?
But anyway, so I don't really follow sports too much.
Yeah,
so
I don't follow it at all.
So when I do,
Professional wresling,
Right.
that's the sport of kings,
of course,
obviously.
real sport. Whenever there's anything in sports where I do have some knowledge of, and I get more invested in it. So because of that incident with Grandpa and the Shaq card, I latched on to Shaq. So
Sure.
I follow, so I always kind of followed Shaq, and because of that, I became an Orlando Magic fan. And even though I was a Knicks fan because we grew up in the Ewing era.
Oh yeah.
So I was really a Knicks fan, but I
Jeff
liked
Van Gundy. That's a name I remember
of course,
from when I was a kid.
Well, we were in high school by then.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He replaced the
Well,
guy who replaced Pat Riley.
I was a kid. Pat Riley, the other one, yeah. These are
so-
names I know. I can hold my own and do you remember this person conversation?
But I fell out of sports in the period where Shaq went to Miami,
Right.
And even when he went to LA. And these are the teams he's most famous for. So to me, it's really funny because he only played for the Magic for 2-3 seasons. 'Cause
Sure.
I think he went back to them for a little while.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
to me, he's an Orlando Magic player, which for every 99% of NBA fans, he's not.
Yeah, I would always associate with him with the Magic because of, I guess, when he was locked into my brain. Like
Exactly.
he was hot when he was
Exactly.
on the Magic. So, all right. I think that's all we have to say about Shaq's rookie season. So thanks, Daniel, for that suggestion. Let's go into the random topic generator.
Okay.
And let's see what we've got here.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, 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 beep. What is that from? Isn't there something where there was like something had that? Was it a Carmen Sandiego?
That was Press Your Luck. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, no,
No
I
whammy,
feel
no
like
whammy,
there's
stop.
some kind of generator type thing that has that sound effect too.
I think it's Press Your Luck.
But Press Your Luck doesn't generate it. I guess it generates
It
whammies.
generates whammies, my friend.
All right.
And the topic is whammy. No, the topic. This is an interesting one.
I'm thinking a video game.
This is an interesting one. I think that the submitter for this topic did it incorrectly because the submitter is Captain America and the topic is Mr. Spider Clown. So let's talk about Mr. Spider Clown,
I like to
please.
think that it was correct, completely done correctly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Steve Rogers, big fan of the show,
Big fan.
wants us to talk about Mr. Spider Clown.
Because Steve Rogers, he was frozen for so many decades. He's like, I got to get caught up on the 90s. I'll listen to 90s Percentile.
All right.
So that's
exactly. So first of all, thanks for listening, Steve. We're big fans.
Yeah, big
obviously.
fans. I loved Civil War, loved Winter Soldier.
Civil War. I rewatched ASA. I hold fast. It's overrated, and
I loved it. I
It's
just
good,
rewatched it
but
too.
it's got a lot of flaws. It could have been
I don't know.
lot.
It's a
it could
very,
have been
very
lot
fun
better. It
movie,
could have
but
been- anyway,
let's get to our topic.
So Spider Clown. I'm guessing
Mr. Spider Clown.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's a clown, maybe even the Joker, maybe a specific clown.
Okay.
Who got lost in space and got bit by one of the metal spiders that got Gary
interesting.
Oldman in Lost in Space.
See, I was thinking Jason X as soon as you said metal spiders, because remember the metal spiders turned him into Jason X.
You met the metal ants.
Metal ants.
Yeah.
I'm such an idiot.
Lost in Space had the metal spiders
course.
that when they bit Gary Oldman, 50 years later, he turned into an actual spider.
But weirdly enough, Wild Wild West also had a metal spider, and that was hundreds of years before Lost in Space.
the metal spiders are kind of just...
Metal spiders
part
are prevalent.
Yeah, they're part of the universe. They're just kind of always there.
So do you think Mr. Spider Clown is a metal spider?
That.
See, I think of him as a spider who is a clown.
No, I think he's a clown who was fused with the essence of a
the
spider.
essence of Spider.
Basically,
like
like
Spider-Man is the Joker,
or
basically.
like how Swamp Thing really isn't actually what's his face?
Dr. Alec Holland?
Dr. Alec. He's actually a.
I'm shocked I just pulled that out of my brain. I'm not a big Swamp Thing fan.
He's actually a sentient plant form
Correct.
that has the memories and life force of Dr. Alec. And I think
That
that
is
was I know
absolutely
that was retconned. I think he's back to being actually Dr. Alec.
I think
at this
now,
point.
probably in the
'Cause
Rebirth
it's a really dumb
world.
idea. But
It's not. It's an Alan Moore idea, and I think we know your opinions on Alan Moore.
He
past
loves
past
touching,
episodes.
fondling.
Oh boy, fondling the earth and the Swamp Things.
little boys.
But yeah, Mr. Spider Clown. Yeah, I'm picturing like the Joker as a Spider-Man, which would be an interesting mashup. There was, I think we touched on this in a past episode, the amalgam universe of Marvel and DC Comics, where they combined their characters.
But Joker
for a
didn't
month.
combine with Spider-Man.
Joker combined with, I guess it was Nightcrawler.
Really? That's
No,
weird.
he turned into.
Wouldn't he combine with a villain that was similar to him?
Who was it? Because it was you had Dark Claw, which was a combination of Batman and Wolverine.
Right.
And Dark Claw was fucking awesome as shit.
Yeah, of course.
And his foe was Hyena, and it was the Joker. I guess it was Joker Sabretooth. That's what it was.
That's weird. I guess because those are their two arch rivals at the time.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking of Nightcrawler because there was also a little creeper thrown in there, and they were
There
both
is
designed by
something.
Dave Cockrum.
I mean, Joker pretty much has it all except physical strength and superpowers. I guess
he has it all.
I mean, like he's got
Damaged
he's
skin.
got brains.
Crazy.
He's got the super insanity.
Yeah.
I guess that would be a good asset to him to give him Sabretooth's powers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a boring. I feel like that's kind of a boring combination.
I think you're wrong. You should read Dark Claw Adventures #1.
I'm not gonna.
You should check it out. You still haven't read the fucking Gotham Central books I gave you 2 years ago.
I will read them after I finish the book I started 2 years ago
all right.
and read the comic I literally just bought in front of it. I bought an Image comic.
Yes, you did. You did. Well, we were just talking
And it
about
wasn't
Image
because we were talking
couple
about
weeks ago.
Spawn and Image. It was
Sure.
just- I saw it. It tickled my fancy. It's about space politics, which is
Right.
two of my favorite subjects.
There you go.
So I bought it.
It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I flipped
combining
through it.
two
It doesn't
things
look
you
like
love.
it's going to be all that interesting, but it's got good reviews. So I'm probably, I'm judging a book not by its cover, but by
Right.
its flipping.
I've never understood the phrase "don't judge a book by its cover." The cover is literally designed to tell you what is in the book. Will this appeal to you? Should you buy this book? So I always judge books by
I
their
think
cover.
you should judge them by the flipping.
I don't know.
You get a much better sense of what's going on by just flipping through the pages real quick.
Yeah, but Mr. Spider Clown, let's judge him by his cover. What's
Okay.
what's Mr. Spider Clown's deal? You think he likes it because it was sort of a spider
Oh,
clown?
how about this?
Yeah,
I haven't seen the random topic generator because for some reason we can't get it to work on my computer.
yeah.
I'm assuming it's Mr. Spider -clown.
It's not. There's no spaces or punctuation
Okay.
at all.
'Cause
Mr. Spider
All
Clown.
right, never mind. Because if it was hyphen, I was gonna say maybe his mom is Spider, his dad is Clown, and it's like just a
Right, and he just
a
a
hyphen name.
She kept her name and then he hyphenated the names.
Right.
Yeah, it could be. So
I'm
Mr. Spider
very
Clown, let
curious
us know.
how I totally get hyphen names.
Yeah.
For the sake of simplicity, I kind of want to be a traditionalist, and if I ever had kids, I'd be like, no, you're gonna be a Picone. But I totally get it, and it's probably justified. But what I'm curious is,
Right.
as more people do it, and then they get married, do they give their kid 4 last names?
Well, then that gets into like I think a lot of Arab cultures, like they have really really long names, but don't actually use all of the names day to day.
And all those names you're saying are from because
They're just
very progressive marriages in the Arab culture.
That's not where the names come from, but the same style of they keep adding on new names.
Okay, I always liked. I think in Mexico, I heard this somewhere, so I could be completely wrong, and I don't feel like fact checking.
Sure.
But I think
What is this, a Donald Trump
I think
debate?
a lot of Mexican
Political. If you're talking about Mexicans, maybe it is a Donald Trump
I
debate.
think a lot of Mexicans' middle names are their mother's maiden names, so you get to keep both. And I actually like that a lot.
I've heard of
because
that, not
'cause
necessarily
I'm
Mexicans,
not crazy about
but-
the concept of a middle name because it's so arbitrary. It's like, yeah, here's another name.
Right.
So I do like the idea of you getting your mother's maiden name, which really should be just as important as your father's last name.
Sure.
And you're kind of getting it built into the very DNA of your full name. I
Yeah,
like that
it's-
concept.
It's interesting. What about this? A lot of people nowadays, progressive liberal types, are instead of doing the hyphenated names, they will combine their names. This is like something that people have actually done.
Guest Bryce Canedo Pulitt has done it.
Wait, he combined. No, but I mean, like if you and I got married.
You mean literally like amalgam?
That's
they
exactly
did an
what I
amalgam
mean.
of their last names.
Yes,
They're not
like,
hyphenating.
Like Mulcone would be one of ours.
Well, we used to do that when we played Family Feud on the Super Nintendo in my bedroom.
That's true, we did.
So there was like 4 or 5 or 6 of us in our little crew.
Yeah.
And depending on who was on whose team,
right, we would just mush all the names together.
So we kind of invented the concept, really.
All right, so send your royalty checks to worst episode.
And if you know our friends, they are the quintessential progressive liberals. So
yeah.
No, they're not.
That is true. That is true.
I'm being ironic.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't like that idea because I feel like, again, I'm a traditionalist in some ways, and the entire concept of carrying over a last name is to have some kind of legacy with your past,
right? Some kind of
and
thread.
to completely reword it. I actually, I get the reasoning behind it, but my gut says
it's
that's
a cute
wrong.
idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big
hyphenating,
fan.
I would think, would be a much better, more logical solution.
Right. It works for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's got 2 names that roll off
so like
the
if
tongue.
his parents were progressive liberals, he'd be Golit.
Golit.
Joseph Golit.
Joseph Golit is not starring in Snowden.
But unless he was Levdon.
Joseph Levdon.
Levdon has Snowdon.
I am Levdon. That sounds like his alien name. From
Levdon as Snowden, and then that would have gotten him Bryan Cranston's role, and he would have been playing Zordon.
Oh man. All right. So thank you, Captain America, for submitting the topic of Mr. Spider Clown. I think we've mined all we can from that one.
I know, and I hope one day somebody submits you as a topic, because I would love to talk about Captain America.
Absolutely. So maybe Mr. Spider Clown, if he's listening, he'll submit Captain America as a topic. But maybe he's not going to after this segment of the show.
I would like to think he's got to be good at multitasking with 8 arms.
All right, so I've got our next topic. It comes from Mr. Spider Clown. Interestingly enough,
is this a random topic
this
generator?
Is a random topic generator.
Are you sure it's not in alphabetical or chronological order?
It's totally random.
Is the guy we paid?
We paid someone to build us a random topic
and
generator.
I'm saying, did you think he just half-assed it? It's like, yeah, it's random. Yeah, sure.
He did build it on the weekend of his brother's wedding. Did I tell you this?
Yes, yeah.
So maybe he wasn't paying full attention.
Yeah, random, sure.
Yeah. It just like skips every other line. But it's coming from Mr. Spider Clown, and the topic is Murder at 1600.
Ooh.
Which is a movie. I know that much.
I've certainly never seen.
I've never seen it either.
So we're going to have to play that game.
All right.
What is Murder at 1600 about?
All right. I'm not going to look it up.
Okay. We know Wesley Snipes is in it.
Okay. I didn't know Wesley Snipes was
Really?
in it. I was going to say, I think Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
I'm pretty sure. Now you got me second guessing. I'm pretty sure it's a Wesley Snipes vehicle.
Or
back
am I thinking
in that
of,
5-year period where he was a really big billable
You
star.
might be right. I think there was like a hostage situation at the White House. I might be confusing it with 187.
Murder at 6. I think it's a murder mystery.
Right, but I think the murderer is trapped in the White House. Is that what happens?
That can't be.
You're
thinking of Passenger 50. You're combining Passenger 57 with.
Well, I thought I was thinking of the movie 187. Is that Lawrence Fishburne? I've never seen any of these movies.
Isn't that
Police Code for Murder?
Yeah, I thought that was. Isn't
so
that
it's
the
187 at
187
1600.
the high school movie with Samuel L. Jackson as the principal?
Man, I don't know. I'll look up 187.
Isn't that where Samuel L. Jackson plays like Russian roulette with his students and then he blows his head off? Spoilers.
I don't want the number 187 Wikipedia. Stupid Wikipedia, not knowing what I wanted.
Oh, it was amazing. Yesterday, I was, a friend of the show, Jeff, always gives me shit because I rely so much on Siri and on Apple.
Right.
And
by the way, you were right about 187. Samuel L. Jackson, an LA teacher caught in gang trouble.
Yeah. So we were trying to figure out how old Venus and Serena Williams were.
Sure.
So I was just like, I got this.
35.
So 35 and 36. So
nice.
I go, hey Siri, how old is Venus and Serena Williams? And
sure.
And it just goes. It gave it to us in days. It was just like 18,000 days, whatever it was.
Interesting.
And I was just like, well, she's. Although then I looked back and it was like that wasn't correct either. So I was like, she technically
Siri
gave me the.
failed you on multiple levels last night.
I know they're working on it. They'll get there.
It's something.
It's the closest I have to a butler.
That's right. You're exactly right. So Murder at 1600. Yeah. Maybe it's Wesley Snipes. Maybe it's not.
So I'm
who else do we think was in Murder at 1600?
I'm gonna guess. I'm thinking actually that this was the first real precursor to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think this is part of a shared universe with hackers.
Okay,
and I think Johnny Lee Miller's character, Lee Miller,
yeah, of course,
is actually not a big part, but also not a cameo. He's got a couple of scenes, and like as a nod to the fans, there's one point where Wesley Snipes is trying to get information from. He's hacking to get like
He's hacking the hackers.
So he's sitting in a car in a driveway, like eating fast food in a parking lot, eating fast food.
And it's the car from hackers.
And it's the car from hackers. And Wesley Snipes is like coming up to like get the information.
Yeah.
And he's like knocking on the window, and you hear muffled from within the car, "I love my computer. And then like he's like getting Wesley's like getting impatient. He's like knocking on the window, like, come on, man, I'm here. And then Johnny Lee Miller is like turns it down. He's just like, hey. And then they have their scene, and then the scene ends with Wesley walking away, and Johnny like grabbing his soda and like slurping from it and turning the music back up, and it's just like, I love my computer.
I think that's exactly what happened.
But that's one scene. I don't know what the actual movie is.
Okay, is that the first scene in the movie?
No,
I think it might be.
That's like a
I thought it was told out of order. Wasn't that what Murder at 1600?
It's a little derivative of Pulp Fiction.
Right.
Little derivative.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's told in 5 chapters that are told completely out of order.
Right. It starts like there's a birth at one point, and it's the person who dies at 1600. You see the birth of, I think it was the president. Was it the president?
It was the president. The president gets killed. Yeah.
So it was the live birth. It was Bill Clinton's birth because he was president at the time the movie came out. They just threw it in the movie,
and it's obviously they didn't have real footage of Bill Clinton being born.
Right. They used actors. It was Haley Joel Osment as Bill Clinton as a baby.
Fetus.
It was a fetus / baby because as soon as it comes past those vagina lips, it's a baby. It's not a fetus anymore.
It's kind of rude to have the president's like even having an actress play the president's mother vagina. So it was all like fake latex. It was
right.
It was, they got Stan Winston.
They had Stan Winston come in. Yep, and Rob Bottin. They helped out.
Stan Winston created the vagina of Bill Clinton's mother, and then Haley Joel Osment comes out.
Right.
Oh,
covered in slime.
I actually do know this. I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know this, but it's one of those things you hear.
Yeah.
The placenta and the stuff that was on Haley Joel Osment.
Sure.
McDonald's maple syrup.
That sounds exactly right. Yeah. I think you're right. I think I never actually saw Murder at 1600, but I did see the documentary that was making of it.
Making at 1600.
Making at 1600, and it was mostly about this Bill Clinton birth scene.
Yeah. They spent like a good hour on the latex.
Yeah. This was half the budget
animatronic
for the movie.
Vagina.
Yeah. It was no CGI vajayjays in this one.
There's a few CGI shots, but it was still really crude, and it's just like a little touches here and there.
Okay.
The clit is CGI.
The clit was entirely CGI. Yeah, that's right. And when Haley Joel Osment came out,
Stan was just like, he's like, I could create this, but we kind of wanted to experiment with this new technology. They had there was like this new program like
Clitsoft to animate
2.0. Yeah, so
right.
It was the precursor to the one that made all the Lord of the Rings soldiers.
Right. Yeah. I think Pixar had used it in Toy Story before that.
Yeah, no, there's actually a clit in every Pixar movie as like an homage.
Well, it's like the hidden Mickeys at Disney World. It's find the clit in the Pixar movie. It's just.
Did you see Finding Dory?
Yeah, I found it. I found it right
very
away.
Obvious.
Very obvious. Oh my God.
That's another time.
That's a whole other thing. But yeah, it goes from that Clinton birth scene, and then it goes right to the murder at 1600, which I was surprised that it was a vampire who murdered the president.
Yeah.
He just rips the throat out.
It wasn't even to get blood. Usually, when a vampire kills somebody,
it was just
in a movie,
he disagreed with his policies politically.
He was saying that he was putting too many black men in jail,
right?
And that this was going to bite him in the ass and bite his wife in the ass.
Exactly.
20 years in the future.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm just going to nip this in the bud.
Yeah,
which is his
that's
saying.
Vampire slang.
That was like his. I think actually AFI, again, haven't seen the movie, but I saw AFI top 5 movie quotes of all time. You got Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn.
Right, of course.
Go
classic.
Ahead and Make My Day.
Yep.
Number 3 is I'm going to nip this in the bud.
Right.
A vampire.
Right. Somebody stop me.
Somebody stop me.
That was
and
then
number 5 was from
Beetlejuice.
From Beetlejuice. It's the first scene where Alec Baldwin they get into the car crash and they go
yeah, that classic Gina Davis line. And Alec, they both had the same line.
Most famous line in movie history.
We blanked for a second, but now that's all coming back.
Of course. If we were making it up, we would just make it up. But when it's actual facts, you actually sometimes you got to think about
recalling the actual fact.
Yeah. The vampire. So first scene is the 45-minute birth sequence.
But then when the vampire kills the president, and then Wesley Snipes come in with his awesome sword and cuts the vampire's head off, you realize it's just a prequel to Blade.
Yep.
And this was the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It wasn't actually a shared universe that inspired the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
Hackers was the first.
Yep.
Then Murder at 16. Then Blade 2. Blade Trinity actually not part of it.
A lot of people don't know that.
It's sort of, it is and it isn't. It's like the new Sony Spider-Man movie.
Right. It's a little it's a little on the edge. Like maybe it's an Elseworld or What If type world.
Because they don't want Ryan, because Ryan Reynolds is in Blade 3 and they don't want it confusing because he's also Deadpool, he's also Green Lantern. You gotta take this stuff serious.
Yeah, you gotta pick one and move on.
So then Blade kills the vampire that never gets a name. He's just literally
he's
a
the
vampire.
That's how he's built.
A vampire.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's A is the first initial. Like
I
it's
think
A
that was his
dot
name.
Vampire.
It was Andrew
'Cause
Vampire.
I only know it from the AFI list where it just says, I'm going to nip this in the butt.
Vampire.
A period vampire. All right. So A is Andrew.
But
Andrew
somebody
Vampire.
stopped me is also attributed as T period Mask. So they just shorten the first names because he's the Mask.
Because we know it's not Tom Mask.
No, it's the is his first name. Mask is his
So it
last
could
name.
still be a vampire.
Right. It could. Well, we don't know. We don't know. You're right.
I want to look it up, but I like playing this game of figuring out what the movie is first.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
I'm sure once we look it up, we'll find out it's either A or Andrew.
Absolutely. It must be. I mean, what else is it gonna be? It's not Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley Vampire?
Well,
I don't
Ashley,
think so.
I know a lot
You
of
think it's Ashley
boy
Vampire?
Ashleys. I know
oh,
a lot.
really?
I
like
also
Ashley
know a lot
Angel?
I actually know two separate. They don't know each other. Ashleys who are vampires. So
Can we have both of them on the show
No,
and have them meet each other on the show live?
They might murder us.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
I mean, they're like, I get along with them, but they are bloodthirsty creatures of the night.
Really, okay. Well,
I'm always a little nervous around them, is what I'm saying. I hope they're not listening.
Maybe if we eat a big pasta sauce, because I put a lot of garlic in my pasta sauce.
Yeah,
we'll bring them over for garlic dinner.
Kind of being rude to introduce. Like last time we had Mike Diaz on the show, and we purposely ate all that garlic, and he did not appreciate it.
Because he's also a vampire? Is
no,
he just hates garlic?
He just hates garlic. It's just rude to stink up the place when you have a guest over.
That's true. Well, then I apologize.
Mike is a very polite guy, and he didn't want to say something, but I could tell with his eyes, he was like, guys, we studios, a little heavy on the garlic.
A little too much garlic. Yeah,
all
but
right,
let's get back to Murder at 1600.
You got the 45-minute birth sequence.
Right.
You have the vampire kill Bill Clinton.
Yep.
Then you have Wesley Snipes kill the vampire.
Which most people don't realize, also a prequel to Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Kill Bill 0. This was the first Bill that got killed.
But remember, movies back then really not as, it was very... You couldn't really push the envelope too much.
Sure.
So you can't actually kill a sitting president in a Hollywood movie.
No.
So then, of course, there's a twist at the end, but because everything's shuffled around, it's actually the third chapter of the movie.
Yeah.
You find out that it was actually a Bill Clinton body double that was killed. Bill Clinton's fine.
Bill Clinton's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the problems he had going into the movie, he was half cyborg. He was the Clinton. But yeah, Clintron.
Well, Clintron was you're getting confused. Clintron is the body double.
Oh, I'm so...
The actual Bill Clinton is just a human. Remember, we saw him being born.
You're right. We did see him being born. I liked the twist later on when it turned out the vampire was the good guy and Clintron was going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
So he had to stop it, not just for vampire kind, but for all.
The vampire turned out to be good,
For the I Frankensteins out there, for the people out there, for the Han Solos out there.
The vampire was doing good. Wesley Snipes finds out he feels terrible.
Yeah.
It was kind of his forget it, it's Chinatown moment.
Exactly.
And then the last scene of the movie, which in the order is actually the fourth scene in the movie.
Of course.
Is where they have Bill Clinton as a really old man actually recounting the story, and that's kind of the framework. He's actually telling a group of young kids the story of the murder at 1600.
Yeah.
What was weird was that they, I guess for continuity, they had Haley Joel Osment in old man makeup doing the scene, but Haley Joel Osment was a baby. He couldn't talk yet. So it was really weird that all the dialogue was just like gaga goo goo in old man makeup.
I actually thought it was pretty progressive. It was a lot like what they did in Benjamin Button. Where they had all this old man makeup and they're like, what are we gonna? They actually had it already from a previous project that fell apart, and they were like, we need to use this old man makeup. It's gonna go bad, and it's
Stan
gonna
Winston
sour.
very resourceful.
Resourceful.
He's not actually that talented. People hire him because he saves money on the budget.
He's able to say like, okay, we got a box of oatmeal, we got a wire hanger, and we got a light bulb.
And then you make a T800.
Exactly. He makes fucking movie magic with that stuff, and that's what Murder at 1600 is most known for.
And then all right. So let's tie a bow on this. What was the final scene in the movie? Where was it chronologically? I was always confused.
It was actually, I think it was the first scene.
The first scene's the birth.
Even before
we
that.
see Clinton's parents boning.
Right, and Wesley Snipes walks by and he's like,
one day.
And then roll credits.
And then it starts playing Rage Against the Machine, like Calm Like
Bulls
a Bomb.
on Parade! Well, it was a combination of Calm Like a Bomb
They played
and Bulls
both
on.
songs at the same time.
One from each
which
speaker.
Which was really confusing because you're trying to watch the movie and read the credits, and at the same time it's going, Come
Bulls
Like a Bomb!
on Parade! Yeah. I always thought maybe that was a dream sequence, but I don't know.
Ooh.
It could be.
You could interpret it that way.
Scholars have debated this since Murder at 1600 came out.
We really should watch the movie at one
1997.
point instead of just going from the Wikipedia summary.
I mean, I feel
Because
like...
you can't really trust Wikipedia, to be honest.
No, I feel like we've done such a good job.
Okay.
Like we should actually rewrite the Wikipedia page, not even look at what it has, and just put all of this verbatim on there.
We're kind of busy, but if somebody else wants to do
Someone else wants to do it, it's totally fine. It's not vandalism. It's allowed.
It's truth.
It's truth
We're
bombs.
truthers.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to say about Murder 1600?
I think we've covered it
nailed
all. Yeah.
All right, so we got time for one more topic. We got 11
or two
minutes.
or three, we don't know.
And that's true. We have time for no less than one topic.
There we go.
And
we have 11 minutes and 27 seconds left on the clock.
We sure do. This one comes from Bryn Juranek, and the topic is just TGIF shows.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, we talked about TGIF pretty in-depth not that long ago.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about
Sure.
the chemistry, the nature of a generic TGIF show. What shows are you putting on TGIF? What shows are you not putting on TGIF? Why?
Now
So
you're saying me as someone who could have been like an executive at ABC
so
in the
like,
90s.
like the very first lineup of TGIF was made up of pre-existing shows, right?
Right, yeah.
So they have, ABC's got, let's say 30, 40 shows.
Okay.
Why did they go, okay, Perfect Strangers, this is going to be in our new TGIF thing?
I feel like TGIF started as just kind of a general comedy block. Like
But
Must
for
See
families,
TV
right?
Thursday. I don't know if it was necessarily
Okay.
for families at first, because you did have like Perfect Strangers, not really a family show.
No,
per se.
I guess not. It's
I
about
mean,
two bachelors.
It's about two bachelors. I liked it because like Balky was funny. He's got a funny voice, and Bronson Pinchot is has a way with children. But I don't think it was specifically a show for kids. I feel like TGIF evolved to be
To be literally for
sitcoms
for kids.
for kids, which now like
That's
Disney Channel and
interesting,
Nick does.
Especially by its like what I call its modern era, which
Yeah.
was probably in the middle of its era, basically when Sabrina
Sabrina
came
the
on.
Teenage Witch.
Because that's
Yeah.
by then I was too old for TGIF and wasn't really watching
You
it.
say that, but I definitely watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I watched
Maybe
it, but
I was
I
just-
watched it here and there. I wasn't
you want a Sabrina head?
yeah, I wasn't a sab head.
Yeah.
But definitely like Sabrina was definitely like, hey kids, watch this. And I
Yeah.
guess Teen Witch and Teen Angel and Teen Genie. Whatever.
Teen Genie. Yep. That was it.
So all right, so what? All right, Baby Talk was Baby,
Baby
Talk
Talk?
for kids, or is that for young the 18 to 34 demo? It's like, hey, I'm a single mom, and I can relate to this show.
Really quick, let's just explain what Baby Talk was.
I'm sure it's a topic.
It was essentially Look Who's Talking, the TV series,
Yeah.
but the baby talked to other people,
And
right?
the baby wasn't Bruce Willis, which was the
Right.
TV version of Bruce Willis, which is Tony Danza.
Of course.
And also, you should note that the first season of Baby Talk starred George Clooney,
Clooney.
And he was written out of the show because he just didn't work. They're like, sorry, George. And he was replaced by the much superior version of George Clooney, Scott Baio.
Oh, yeah.
And this is all true.
Yeah. Was that must have been right before ER for George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
Is that like 93? Because
Yeah,
ER was
it's
94.
a little bit before. It's after ER, the sitcom he actually did in the 80s.
Did he really do a sitcom?
Yeah, it's
ER?
called
All right.
E-R, and it was a half-hour sitcom about an emergency room.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I did know he was in Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes.
that and
high-quality film.
The early seasons of Roseanne. They were all around the same time.
Yeah, I do remember those.
But yeah, he actually did star in a show called ER, a half-hour sitcom.
That's why Michael Crichton was
He
like,
was
we
a
gotta get this guy.
sitcom actor up until ER,
Yeah.
the second ER.
Some would say he still is a sitcom actor. I saw The American.
It was a situation comedy.
It was a situation comedy. I didn't actually see The American. And that is the one that he was in, right? Was that Johnny Depp? The Tourist? That was another one.
That was Johnny Depp.
That was JD.
A bad movie.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those.
It had a really good scene in it. It had a good escape scene, but
Okay.
other than that, it was just
One
kinda-
scene is not enough for me
I was
to watch a
disappointed
movie.
because the director of The Tourist did not The Sound of Silence, but it was something with silence, and it was
Not the disturbed cover of The Sound of Silence.
But it was a movie. It was a German film about East Germany, the Stasi, and it was really good. And then and it was a huge hit for a foreign film. So the studios, absorbed him, and they said, "Here, do this Johnny Depp, Angelina Jolie movie." And it
Right.
was just kind of
Was it The Lives of Others?
yes.
Did
I
he do
think
that one?
was it.
I haven't seen that
I
movie.
don't know
I've
why
heard it's so
I said
good.
silence.
I don't know, but I don't know why you saying that made me think of The Lives of Others.
Sigh,
Because that was a movie about like spying on other people.
Yes, it's
I
it's
didn't
about
see
a East German Stasi guy who his job is to spy on people and see if they're becoming too Western.
Right. Now that was also the premise of a TGIF show, or was it? Am
That
I
was-
confused?
Well, it's actually a
Was
remake.
that what Baby
it's
Talk?
a remake of a TGIF sitcom, Teen Stasi.
Teen Stasi. There you go. There was that season that everything was teen whatever.
Okay, so the general TGIF show. So
Okay, let me ask you this question. When I say think of a TGIF show, what's the first one that pops into your
Full
head?
House.
Really?
Yes. What's yours?
Boy Meets World.
Really?
Yeah.
See, to me, that was also later era TGIF.
I think Boy Meets World probably. I'm sure that's a topic in here. And if it's not, if my wife is
I
ever on the
don't
show,
have
she'll
the
want to talk
attachment
about
to
it.
Boy Meets World that you seem to really like it.
I actually don't like it. I have an affection for it, but I have no interest in watching it now.
I did watch the first couple of seasons. I did enjoy the first couple of seasons. Once he hit puberty, I was off. I was not on board.
When they were in high
off
school, I
board.
think those were the best seasons.
I liked him when he was a cute kid and he always wore a Phillies hat.
He was never that cute.
He's just like, Jay Willigers, Mr. Feeney. I like the dad. The dad was much more prominent in the earlier seasons.
Yeah, I did like the dad, but I was a huge fan of Will Friedle as Eric, the older brother.
Why? Just because of Batman Beyond? Or?
Kinda. I don't know. I was a big Will Friedle fan, like in the 90s, for whatever reason.
Funny.
He-
There's
I
nothing
don't
special
know.
about him.
He seemed funny. He was in a Disney movie called H.E. Double Hockey Sticks.
I remember that, yeah.
Where he played the devil, and I think it was Matthew Lawrence?
Kind of young
Who was
for
the one?
devil.
He was also on Boy Meets World.
Matthew
Superhuman
Lawrence was
Samurai
the middle,
Cyber Squad.
is the middle Lawrence. Yeah,
Right,
Servo.
he was
Yeah.
Servo. Yeah, he was a hockey player who sold his
Which,
soul
by the way,
to the
we
devil.
didn't mention that last week. We were trying to come up with Power Ranger ripoffs. That's an easy one right there. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
No, we said that one for sure.
You sure? Oh,
I think
we did?
so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Anyway,
I hope that's a topic. I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
but
one of my favorite shows ever.
Someone submit that.
one of the greatest Christmas presents of all time I got was when I got a box that had all of the action figures in it.
From Superhuman Samurai?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I never had any of those toys.
Oh my god! It was like I came. It was the first time I came. I was
Your first
I was
wet
12
dream
years old.
was Servo fighting a monster in cyberspace. But Will Friedle, he was in that movie. That was a made-for-TV Disney movie. But he was also in this movie called The Trojan War. Have you ever heard of this movie?
That's where Brad Pitt fights.
No, that's not that one.
Hulk.
Eric Bana. By the way, no one talks about Troy anymore. Remember that movie was like huge when it came out, and like I haven't
Yeah.
seen it since, and like no one ever talks about it. But
It's
that's
just
not,
it's
that's
the
not the point.
stereotypical CGI early 2000s swords and sandals
like
movie.
playing off of Gladiator. But he was in a movie called Trojan War. He met Jennifer Love Hewitt there, and they dated for a while. She was actually on an episode of Boy Meets World. She played Jennifer Love Pfefferman. It was kind of funny. It's not a bad show, Boy Meets World. But the entire premise of the movie is he's trying to find a condom so he can have sex with her. And like hijinks
Wait,
ensues.
HE double hockey sticks?
No, Trojan War, this one's called. HE double hockey
So it's
sticks.
not actually about the Trojan War.
No, it's about like finding a Trojan condom. It may have been sponsored by the Trojan
I
company.
feel like the writer of that movie came up with the title first, and then
Almost certainly. And I think I may be the only person in the entire world who has seen that movie.
you know, I like to consider myself pretty knowledgeable about pop culture, and
Yeah.
even if I don't know something about something, I feel like I know of it.
Yeah.
There's zero, like -5% I've ever heard of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I used to run the Will Friedle fan newsletter, so maybe it was just I know through that capacity.
All right, so really, Boy Meets World is is the first.
That's like
you're
the-
playing
the
Family. We're
quintessential-
playing Family Feud in my bedroom on Super Nintendo. You're
Yeah.
on team. I'm on Jenner Cone, and you're on Mullineck.
Okay, yeah.
The topic is from 8-bit Ray Cohn.
Yeah, Ray
is-
Combs.
Ray Combs. The 8-bit question
Name
is
a TGIF show. I'm saying Boy Meets World.
and I'm saying Full House. I wonder what the actual number one answer would be.
They're both very similar shows. Like they're both like kiddie-oriented
like-
sitcoms.
I feel like
and they both now
Boy
have
Meets
had
World is-
spin-offs.
I don't know what I mean by this. Hopefully you get the spirit of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even though my words aren't most accurate. I feel like Boy Meets World is more of a real show than Full House. Full House almost to me Full House almost.
I would actually say the exact
I
opposite.
feel like Full House is barely even like an actual. It's like a shell of a sitcom.
See, Full House to me is more iconic 80s sitcom, but Boy Meets
Certainly
World
more iconic. Yeah.
seems like a more designed show. Like we're making a show specifically
Really?
for kids about kid problems.
Really?
Like Full House had that, but it was mostly just like everybody loves Uncle Jesse, the TV series. But what's
Yeah,
interesting
that's
is
what I'm saying. It was more
what's-
phony.
I don't know about that.
Like I don't think
Boy Meets World felt very melodramatic and staged.
that.
I guess Full House did too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I guess I
interesting-
mean like I don't know. Boy Meets World actually felt like the writers were trying to write an episode where Full House was just like, all right, here's one part Bob Saget clean jokes. Here's a 2-part Have Mercies. You know, here's a.
See, but to me,
Hal Root.
that is iconic sitcom. Like, let's throw in the catchphrases.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
let's-
definitely an iconic sitcom.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's like less of a real It's less
guess.
art. I don't like again.
It's less art.
The
Yeah.
words are not coming to me. But
Yeah, I don't know.
Boy Meets World felt like a more. I don't know. I guess it felt a little bit more grown up. if that makes sense.
I feel the opposite, but I can understand where you're coming from.
I 100% agree. It was definitely more catered. They were writing the stories towards kids, but they were writing the stories.
Sure. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. We only have 2 minutes left. I find it interesting that both of those shows have had like redos, like requel type series, Girl Meets World and Fuller House.
And what's funny is also, I said Full House because it was my gut check, but honestly, I think the number one answer, what is the what if you could distill TGIF into its purest form? Family Matters.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you,
should they do a reboot of that,
or name a TGIF show you would actually want another like reboot series for? Would it be Family Matters?
Yeah.
You got Urkel. What if? Okay, how
Eddie
about
Winslow
this?
was just in Leftovers.
He wasn't Leftovers. He was good in Leftovers.
He's great.
Urkel and Laura got married at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're married. They have kids now.
But that never worked. She never really loved him.
They get married. They have kids. Okay, so stick with me.
Yeah. Urkel is the new Carl.
Urkel's the new Carl.
There's an annoying kid, and Urkel is just like you're annoying.
What if there's a kid who wants to be a cop when he grows up, and he's
it's
like always bothering Urkel's experiments?
Urkel's still Urkel,
yeah,
but he has the Urkel-Carl relationship with a little tiny police officer.
That's better than where I was originally going to say.
Like a tiny fat police officer with a mustache.
Yeah. I like that even better.
Steve!
Yeah. He's always playing cop and writing fake tickets to kids.
Well, I mean, you have most of the cast there. The grandma's dead, and I'm sure some of them aren't acting anymore. But I know Reginald VelJohnson would do it. You got Urkel.
What has Reginald VelJohnson been up to lately? Has he been in anything?
I think I saw. I
haven't seen him in like anything.
I don't know.
He tweets.
I think he's been. I don't know. I feel like I saw him something. It might have had something to do with when gay marriage was nationalized and legalized.
Right. He is a gay man. I don't know if not a lot of people know that. I mean, maybe more new now.
Not that important. Who cares?
I agree with you. I just find it interesting.
You want to bone Reginald VelJohnson? Is that why you find it interesting?
Absolutely.
You know there's a chance?
Jack, I would split him in half. Are you kidding me?
That's our show.
And that's it for this episode of 90s Percentile. My God, we got through so much topics. Thanks, everyone, for submitting them. And now it is the end of the show, so I'm going to turn to Jack. We don't have a guest.
Yeah.
We could ask our phantom guest.
We could.
But I'm just going to ask Jack. Jack, what did you learn today?
I learned that if given the chance, you would split Reginald VelJohnson in half. And just in case we weren't clear, it would be because you have a giant penis.
Absolutely.
And you would put it inside
with a
him
spike
so
on the end
hard
of it. Yeah.
that he would split vertically in two.
You know, sometimes it's got to be done. Family matters, but Danny's got a bone.
That was the original title.
That's true. They have to change it. Standards and practice reasons. What did I learn today? I learned quite a bit about the film Murder at 1600, and I think I'm going to have to go home and rent it because I want to watch that Bill Clinton scene again. I only saw the bits and pieces from the making of 1600.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check it out.
I mean, obviously, I've seen that scene a dozen times in film school and stuff.
Of course,
but I guess I do. I guess I'm curious to watch it in context of the entire film.
Maybe we'll do a sync points on it.
I'm surprised nobody's ever done a YouTube or whatever chronological edit of the movie. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Get on it, YouTube.
See the movie actually in the order, like in regular. I mean, it's less interesting.
Get at it. Put it on r/worst episode ever. That's our official Reddit. And please, thanks so much for listening. We are at wepodcast.com.
You sure?
That's our website. I did pause for a second there. I wasn't sure where I was going with this. And if you want to support the show, you can go to amazon.wepodcast.com or click our banner ads at WePodcast. That helps keeps the show free. You just shop on Amazon like you normally would. We get a small cut. We like getting that money. Helps us see movies like the movies we talked about today, Hackers, and all that.
If you haven't checked us out on Facebook or Twitter, we have a new account for both of those. I mean, you can still follow us if you just want 90s Percentile information. You can follow us at 90s Percentile.
That's true.
Or on our 90s Percentile Facebook page. But now we have a We Studios account for both, which is our umbrella for all We Studios news, stuff that doesn't fit into any category like sync points and stuff.
We do this show, but we also do a show called Worst Episode Ever, a Simpsons podcast.
And we do sync points, and we've got some other side projects.
Got some stuff coming.
We Studios Pod is our Twitter.
That's true.
Follow that. And at We Studios is our Facebook page, or just search We Studios on Facebook. It'll pop up.
Yeah.
You'll see our Empire logos, which we haven't given credit to, by the way. My girlfriend Missy, who has done our 90s Percentile and our Worst Episode Ever logo, she also worked very hard on our We Studios logo.
Yeah, which we love, and thank you so much, Missy, for that. Also, we should really quickly shout out Mike Diaz, our guest from last week. He's still in the middle of his Seed and Spark campaign for Karate Tortoise. He's making a lot of money. He's doing really, really well, but he's got to get through that last chunk of cash.
He's got to hit that 80%, otherwise they lose all of it.
So if you want to support that, check that out. Go to Karate Tortoise. Just Google it. It's the first thing that comes up.
Check out their Facebook page, and you can still see a video. Me and Dan were on a live show of his Tortoise Talk Live.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were there a week ago, but the video's probably still there. So check it out at the Spooked Horse page on Facebook.
Yeah, it should also be on our 90s Percentile page. You can find it that way.
We actually talk about the origin of
We Studios,
and I realized I had made a mistake on the air.
Yeah,
I may have said I came up with the precursor to the idea while hypothetically, but it wasn't. It wasn't hypothetically. It was Adderall.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It wasn't marijuana.
It wasn't. There you go. And if you don't want to spend any money, you don't want to do anything, you can support us another way by telling your friends or by leaving an iTunes review, preferably with a 5 stars. Like this review that we're going to read right now. Okay, so here we got one of your reviews, and since it's just us, I'll read the review with maybe some assistance from Jack.
Yeah, we'll do our Mad Libs game. I'll fill in the blanks.
All right, so here we go. This one's called Good Blank.
Oh, I thought you were actually reading the thing.
No, it's Good Blank.
Vibrations.
Good podcast, parentheses.
A Simpsons podcast.
That's it. And this comes from Steve.
Oh, I got it right.
Steve4702. So thank you, Steve. Wonder if blank...
podcasts.
This gets read on an blank
book
episode. If so, sorry for the blank.
Farts.
Boring blank.
Poops.
Review, comma.
Pukes.
Whoever is blank.
Farts.
Listening. So thanks so much, Steve472. We could have done without some of those farts. But
I don't know how you play Mad Libs.
We appreciate it. I fart through the entire Mad Lib. Okay, guys, that's it for this episode of 90s Percentile. If you want to follow me personally on Twitter, I'm at ThenDanSays.
I'm, personally speaking, at Jackie No Breaks.
Well. As always, the show's at WePodcast.com, and that's it for this episode.
My name is Jack.
And my name is Dan, and we'll see you in another decade.
I almost said my name is Dan.